Where is the most likely place to expect alien life outside of Earth? Until recently, many people have simply thought of Mars first when it comes to alien life. But now another candidate is drawing attention. The representative place is Enceladus, an ice satellite that orbits Saturn. It was discovered by William Herschel in 1789. But it was only one of several satellites without features, and there was no particular object to note. In fact, this place is much smaller than our Moon. It's a small 500 kilometers ice satellite. It is smaller than the UK. But the Cassini probe, which had been hovering around Saturn until 2017, discovered that there was a huge underground sea in this icy satellite. I personally identified the existence of a cosmic geyser, spewing through cracks on the surface. Afterwards, water vapor erupting from the surface was discovered and began to draw much attention. An underground sea under thick ice, but maybe there's an ecosystem that's similar to the deep sea on Earth. And finally, we've got another observation of this interesting Enceladus with James Webb, and we've discovered a surprising difference that we haven't seen in our previous explorations. Enceladus's surface is highly reflective, as it is completely covered with clean ice with less impurities. We're going to show you the amazing side of Enceladus, which was newly confirmed by Space Dust's wise man, James. Jupiter and Saturn both have rings, but the rings on the two planets are very different. Earlier, the Galileo probe discovered that most of the rings around Jupiter were made up of rock debris. On the other hand, most of the rings around Saturn that the Cassini probe identified are ice cubes. A faint ring around Jupiter is made up of debris that has been caught and captured by Jupiter's strong gravity, and that has bounced off colliding with nearby satellites. Saturn's rings, on the other hand, are filled with water vapor from the surrounding ice. Earlier, Cassin's exploration identified a column of water that was gushing hundreds of kilometers out of the surface of Enceladus. Now, this James app has a new look at Enceladus's water column, which is spouting up to 10,000 kilometers high. This observation shows that Enceladus is continuing to pump 300 kilograms of water into space per second. The water vapor of Enceladus, which is spewing out so far, freezes quickly in space and gets caught around Saturn. The satellite was first noticed in 2005, when Cassini was in the midst of its exploration. When scientists discovered something emanating from Enceladus and moved to confirm it, scientists were surprised when it was confirmed that the eruption was water vapor. In addition, this observation identified another ice ring around Saturn that created astronomy. Enceladus, circling Saturn every 30 hours, is filled with ice flakes scattered through space. 30% of the water that Enceladus sprinkled with is filled with this huge ice donut, and the other 70% is supplied to other satellites and Saturn's rings. Far beyond the beautiful rings around Saturn that we're familiar with, there's an ice donut made by Enceladus that surrounds Saturn. Then, wouldn't it be possible to find an alien plankton in the water that's spewed out so far? Earlier, Cassin's probe directly passed through the water stream of Enceladus, identifying its contents. Surprisingly, we've detected a lot of carbon dioxide, methane and ammonia in the water. In addition, the most recent investigation has detected phosphorus, one of the most important materials that makes up DNA. This has identified all 6 basic elements of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur in Enceladus oceans that are most needed to make life. Meanwhile, 1% of hydrogen molecules were found in Enceladus water stream. This was an amazing discovery. There's an important place in the Earth's oceans where hydrogen molecules are made. It's near a deep-sea hydrothermal trench, where heat is coming from the bottom of the ocean that's cracked deep under the sea. The minerals from the ground react with the warm, deep-sea hydrothermal water to form hydrogen molecules. Therefore, Cassini's detection can be evidence that deep-sea water vents heated to temperatures above 90 degrees Celsius, like Earth, exist in Enceladus oceans. In addition, deep-sea hydrothermal vents are the most likely source of life on Earth, where primitive life was first born. Hydrogen molecules are also the most important source of energy for microbes that live near the heat vents of the core. In other words, it's possible for Enceladus to have the same process of life on Earth, even if extraterrestrial life is found right now. An environment that's not at all strange is hidden in the Enceladus Sea. But this James observation was a little different. James Webb confirmed the presence of clear water in Enceladus. Signals of other ingredients, such as carbon dioxide, methane, have yet to be clearly identified. The first observation of the James ship shows that Enceladus's water stream is virtually completely pure. This means that even if there are other molecules, the amount can be very small. We'll look forward to seeing more accurate analysis of the ingredients in the Enceladus stream. Although it's not Enceladus around Saturn, these astronomers are beginning their exploration of Europa, where another ice around Jupiter is coming from. Many scholars speculate that volcanoes exist under thick glaciers. Last April 2023, a new probe for Jupiter, JUICE, left Earth. It's still flying towards Jupiter. By 2031, you'll be visiting Jupiter and the surrounding planet. JUICE, in particular, makes a very detailed exploration of the three largest satellites around Ganymede, Callisto, and Europa-Jupiter. By directly analyzing the water coming out of the cracks in the ice on the Europa surface, we're able to identify the possibility of deep-sea heat in the ocean floor, just like Enceladus did. Another Europa probe, Europa Clipper, is set to launch in 2024. Europa Clipper plans to focus on Europa at all, penetrating thick ice through radar observations and accurately completing maps of the underground sea in Europa. Furthermore, astronomers send landers directly onto Europa, or Enceladus's ice surfaces. The Cassini satellite's investigation confirmed that the sea beneath the Enceladus ice layer, which had been speculated to exist only in Antarctica, actually exists wide enough to cover the entire Enceladus. And we're preparing the first extraterrestrial ocean exploration in history by penetrating through the thick ice. Meanwhile, it plans to send a new probe to Titan, Saturn's largest satellite, which is not an ice satellite like Enceladus, but has been found from the surface to a liquid lake. We're planning a drone mission to fly through the thick clouds of methane in Titan. Sooner or later, humans will be exploring both the outer oceans and lakes, tracking the possibility of another life. JUICE and Europa Clipper, who's going to Europa one after another, and James's recent observations, are all thorough preparations for these extraterrestrial ocean exploration. In the meantime, humans have been searching for extraterrestrial planets far outside our solar system to find alien life. But maybe we'll find the traces of alien life that we've been looking for first. Not on a distant alien planet, but on other objects in our solar system that lie ahead of us. Where will humans first find the most obvious evidence of extraterrestrial life on a distant alien planet? And the ice around Jupiter and Saturn? And Enceladus actually detected phosphate in water vapor in 2023. A study published in the journal Nature. It is said to be the first time that phosphorus has been detected outside the Earth. As a result, Enceladus C became the first extraterrestrial site where carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, the so-called 6 major elements of life, were all discovered.